Pastor, we all know the struggle that all of us in ministry face with online church and streaming, and the tension between will people come and be a part of our church, or will they just simply listen to us online? I mean, hey, listen, give me a like if anytime in the last week you have listened to another pastor's sermon or any podcast of any sort, religion or otherwise, or if you've listened to a worship song on Spotify, Apple Music, or on YouTube. You see, the fact is we live now in a digital world where content and sermons and music and worship music and all those things are available for our consumption at the touch and at the click of a finger. So how can we utilize technology in your ministry to make your programming in your service a little bit more hybrid? You know, hybrid, I talk about this, it's the intersection of your in-person and your digital, right? It's not forsaking one for the other, but it's simply finding a way to intersect them and to meld them together in the two. And we're gonna look at my favorite feature in Sidekick, which I believe makes you as hybrid as it can get in today's world. If you are new to this playlist, we have been simply talking in the playlist linked up right here about different features of Sidekick. And in the last video, I kind of introduced Sidekick and I showed some of the miscellaneous features, but there are three kind of core pillars and core feature principles about Sidekick that are just simply fantastic. And the first one is the feature of voting. You can pull your phone out and you can vote via QR code. And so that is what we're going to talk about today and in this video. But don't forget, if you're over here on YouTube, that we do have chapters down at the bottom so that you can skip around and jump around to different sections and elements that pertain the most to you. But I was talking to a friend of mine at a conference several years back, and he was leading a workshop, and it was so well done and it was so creative, and frankly it was pre-COVID, but it was before and I was thinking, like, man, this is more than just him getting up and talking. This is him actually engaging and interacting with his audience and drawing them in. And I asked him, like, how do you do it? And he said, honestly, I challenge myself to try and use at least once per message a feature from Sidekick that I couldn't use with something simple like a PowerPoint or a ProPresenter presentation software. And in our student ministry, we have gone all in on Sidekick. And so I want to share that with you in this playlist, but I also want to let you know that launching on December 2nd, I am going to be launching a bonus weekly podcast simply called, like, what have I done this week? And talking about all the ways that our youth ministry is trying to go hybrid, utilize digital, utilize YouTube, utilize Sidekick. And so that is linked down below, or you can scan the QR code that you see here on screen. That is going to give you that bonus weekly podcast, but there's also going to be other perks for Patreon members, and the cost, my friends, it's only $1 per episode per week. And so jump in on that if you find that helpful. If you're looking to turn the dial up on your creativity, on your hybrid, on your digital, I just want to simply walk you through what we're doing on a week-by-week basis. And as you hear what I'm doing, hopefully that just gives you other creative ideas. And listen, I would love it if you then would also shoot back what you're doing, because anytime I hear what someone else is doing, it causes my brain and my juices to get going and get creative. But anyone who signs up before December 2nd, which is the official launch of the Patreon show, will get an exclusive free piece of merch. I will mail it to you, and so that will be just my token of appreciation. So literally that piece of merch will pay for itself for like 6 months worth of you being signed up for the hybrid Patreon experience. And so jump on in. Honestly, take my money. Can't wait to get you guys going on that. But in this video, I want to talk about the different areas that you can use the voting in Sidekick. So you can include the voting slides in your pre-roll. So for example, here on screen, you'll see I'm going to click present, and we got our full screen window, and boom, we're in our pre-roll slides. And these will rotate. If you were not with us last video, these will rotate every few seconds. We set that up ahead of time. You can go check out how to do that. They're rotating here pretty quickly. You can slow those down. But if you wanted to add here to that, first of all, you got to get out of your presentation window and you got to end your presentation to make your edit. But then right here, if I just wanted to be like, all right, let's include a voting thing here. All you got to do is just click this voting option, boom, and it kind of overtakes the design of the screen. And while you're here, you could use this example, which superpower would you choose? Or you could say, which kind of coffee shop is best? and you can get people debating on the old Dunkin' versus Starbucks versus man, what else is out there? Whatever is like your local hometown hipster coffee vibe. And then over here, it's the check marks on the side. These are indicating correct answers. So if you don't want there to be a correct answer, even though Duncan in this particular case is probably the correct answer, there is no correct answer. And then over here, you can offer this, like, hey, do you want to show the QR code? So sometimes people can scan it ahead of time and just have it on their phone, and their phone becomes like a game remote, or you can leave it being shown here on screen. You can indicate and show the live results. You can also reorder the votes, like as the votes are coming in, whichever one's highest will kind of jump to the top. You can either leave that or not. And then down here in the advanced settings, if you do have a correct answer, this text here will be displayed on screen about whether it was correct or whether it wasn't. And so now if we look back over here at our pre-roll slides, if we get this presentation up and going, we're going to make it a little smaller. So you just pretend that this little window here is like your screen, right? It's your projector screen. You drag this over or whatever. So now it's rotating through, boom. Here's a poll question. You can engage and hybridize and interact with your audience during your pre-roll session there. So that's one of my favorite ways to use it. I have a poll question up every single week during our pre-roll. The hack to that is you do got to keep the slides, they can't be going this fast. I make mine a 14-second rotation. That gives people enough time to read the question, realize it, go scan it, and vote, and maybe get it in, because once this QR code is off the screen, voting is closed. And so once it goes to the next slide, they can't vote anymore. So they kind of got to wait for it to rotate back around. Sometimes if I notice people trying to do it though, what I will do is I will pull my phone up and I will just go back using the phone remote kind of feature, right? So that's one way that you can utilize and use it in your ministry, the pre-roll voting option. You can also use it, probably most commonly, probably the ways that we think about it the most is with your games, right? And so I told you in the last video of our playlist linked right up here. If I haven't already done that, I might have already done that. If you're watching here on YouTube, when you buy a game, you can bring it in. And so we bought this game, Finished the Drawing, in our youth ministry by my friend DERRY. I'll drop the link to that game down below in the show notes. Go buy it, hook his family up, give him some royalties. He needs Christmas presents. But this is what it looks like when I import it in. And so in this particular game, what you would do is, I'll go ahead and show it to you here on screen. What you would do is you would put one of these slides up, and a student would then have to finish the drawing of this bus, okay? So the way that we utilize this in our ministry was we actually probably used random name generator, which is going to be coming up here in one of these future videos, pulled some students up on stage. We got 4 different students, and so then we gave them this picture. We gave them a minute countdown timer on the screen, and then they finished the drawing. Now then we used a camera. We just plugged it in via our stage portal. We use our video switcher, and we switched to the camera view so that up on the screen, everyone could see the finished drawing. So all 4 contestants were holding their drawing up, and then we said, scan this QR code. And so students would scan the QR code, and once they scanned it once, it was on their phone for good, and they could vote who won. Person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4. Based on that, that was the winner. You can utilize this for anything that has a subjective winner, right? Like, who do you think won? This person, this person. You draw something, you build a sculpture, you like, who was the loudest? You can vote it, right? And once you get that QR code shown on screen, and there's another thing, it's showing right here, or you click this little button down here in the Sidekick window, show QR code, and look, it makes it full and big. And so everyone can gain access to it no matter how big or how far away they are from the screen. Sometimes you kind of got to zoom in with your phone and stuff like that. So we use that to then kind of declare a winner. All right. Another game option I want to show you is one that is sitting in here. If you're already a a member or a subscriber of Sidekick, which if you're not, let me remind you that for my podcast listeners only, you can try out COLEADER, which will be what gives you access to Sidekick as a presentation software. If you have never signed up for anything on DYM before, by using the code HYBRID Ministry 10, and you can get access to premium or premium plus of COLEADER. I will put the link down below at sidekick.tv/pricing for you to compare the differences, but they'll give you either 260 COLEADER credits versus 520 COLEADER credits, along with either 25 or 75 Sidekick phone voting connections. So go check that out if that's something that you want to do, that's something that you want to learn. But if you sign up and you are a member, then in your completely free section here, I'm going to end this thing so that I can edit again, right? So you'll notice controls change a little bit, but in this free thing, there's a game that Josh Griffin did over at Mariners called Zombie Apocalypse. So I hit that and I imported it. And so here's what it is. So this is the instructions given to us by the Sidekick team. It says, hey, watch Josh play this game and how he used it. Here's the instructions, here's the supply list, here's how to do all this thing. But so if we just ran this is just another way to utilize the voting and play a game. Make this small so that we can see everything. But so here we are, we're playing this zombie apocalypse game, and you got the plot and all these things, and this is like super next level, right? So this question here is, which weapon will you choose? And you let the students decide if they want a hammer, a lightsaber, a rubber chicken, or the impossible shot bow, okay? And then, here it is, boom. Zombie approaches. Good news, though, they have separation anxiety and will only go to one area at a time in one big group. The survivors should split up to have a better chance of survival. Each one hides in either A, the baptismal, the tech booth, the playground, or the welcome booth, and then you let them vote, okay? The crowd votes, and then on one area, it kills the contestants who are there in that area. Then here's some more instructions, and they even incorporated the wheel. And so as you go through, this is a choose your own kind of adventure of a game. And so that's another really fun, really creative way to use and utilize Sidekick to your advantage. And then there's one last way that I want to show you, and I'll go ahead, I'll get it presented once again. And this is with another game that's free in the free section. If you sign up, again, don't forget, Hybrid Ministry 10. It's called Where's the Ball? And so in this particular game, this is the example of what I was kind of saying earlier about you can use your phone as a remote. And so this game got a right and wrong answer to it, right? So like the other ones were like more subjective. What do you think? What do you think? This one is like, here's a question, here's a right answer. And so in this one, your question that you must decide is it A or is it B? All right. And like I said, in this particular case, you got to get that QR code live so that everyone can scan it on their phones, scan, and then their phone becomes a remote. And so now the question on their phone, A or B, their phone, as they're holding it, says, is it A or is it B? They vote. I, in the booth, or your booth person, clicks right here, this end voting thing. And then when you click reveal correct answer, it shows the slide with the correct answer. And then it also reveals it on everyone's phones at the same time. All right, it's pretty cool. Here we go to the next one. This is which of these pickleball balls is the correct answer. They would vote A, B, C, or D. You'd end the voting. You'd reveal the correct answer. And, of course, the answer is A. The phone would say correct. If they got it wrong, it would say incorrect, or whatever you set the advanced settings to be ahead of time. And I can show you how that works because this one is a little bit more tricky to actually set up. You don't just simply click, right? Like in this one right here, if I added a new slide and I wanted them to vote on who's the drawing, I simply click voting, and then boom, I write the answer like who won, and then I go down here and I do 1, 2, 3, 4. I uncheck the winner, and we're off to the races. And where's the ball? Like I said, it's a little bit more intricate, so let me show you how it works. So you click edit slide, and this is voting, right? So I clicked on that, clicked edit voting, but if it weren't there, I would turn into voting. And right here at the top, you got this little toggle switch that says, is this an image-based question? When it's not, now it went away. When I turn it back on, it's this image-based question. So like I said, question slide, answer slide. And so if I remove these, you'll see that I can upload the question slide and then I can upload the answer slide. Now, if you're just getting this free, where's the ball? It's already included in Sidekick. Go get it. Go play it. It's super fun. But if you're creating it yourself, you'll have to upload this from somewhere just on your computer, right? And then you'll also upload the answer. And then you're going to correct or select which answer is truly correct. And then down here in the advanced settings, you can either say correct or you can say sorry, or you can flame them like you're an idiot. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you want to keep your job, but hey, go for it. It's up to you, right? You can also add, right? So here's where you would add or subtract answers. So if there's 3 multiple choice or 4 multiple choice, or if you need to take one away, so make it 3 again, that's where you would do that. And then you just simply click which of the answers is correct. This is one of my favorite ways. We did this one time. And again, this is the type of stuff you'll get on the Patreon. Like, I'll share this idea and maybe you can use it. We did like a pet day. We were celebrating National Kitten Day, and we had people text in via our text group, send us a picture of your pet, and then we put pictures of pets on screens, and then we say, whose pet do you think this is? Is it, Jake's? Is it Bree's? Is it Adam's? Or is it Gracie's? And then they would just vote. Like, it was a fun way to use our students and to get them and let them be kind of the heroes and the superstars of our day and of our game. And so that was a fun way, and we used this image-based question kind of voting option here on Sidekick. The last way, of course, that you can use it is very obviously in your messages. And so once again, this is an example of what I'll be going on over in our Patreon. But in this particular week, actually tonight, I'm preaching on masks, and I got just a couple of different questions on that. I'm talking about being judgmental. And in that, I'm asking questions like, are you ever judgmental? Yes or no? Scan it and let me know. Another one I'm using like, hey, finish the phrase, sticks and stones, what? And then I put a bunch of different ridiculous answers. And of course, the answer is, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Give me a like if you knew that, because that means you're old like me and you're in your 30s as a youth pastor. Give me a sub if not, because that means that you're younger, and that means that you're actually on YouTube. And so give me a sub so that you will see some of these future videos. But the point is, previously, before Sidekick, I would just say, raise your hand if you know what this phrase means. Sticks and stones may break my bones. And that's an engagement. But now, in a way to go hybrid, taking my in-person and my digital and putting it at the intersection of my students' phones, I say, hey, scan this QR code and finish this phrase. And again, like my friend Anthony said back at that conference, I challenge myself to try and use Sidekick in my message as I create at least one time per week. And so voting is a fantastic way to utilize that and to use that. Now, another really fun custom way that Sidekick has to offer, this was just voting. The last video was just some of its miscellaneous features. The next video, which is going to be linked right here on screen, you can see it if you're watching on YouTube. Go ahead and tap that and go check that out, is the random wheel and how you can customize it and generate it with customized sounds and punishments and all sorts of different things. So I want to chat through different creative ways you can use that, perhaps in pre-roll, in games, in messages, in announcements, all sorts of different ways. Can't wait for you to see that. I hope that this helps you and your youth ministry become more engaging, more interactive. Don't forget, that's all what the Patreon is going to be about. But as always, don't forget, my friends, to stay